In this episode of Gleaning Mustard Seeds, you'll hear 2 chapters of the audible version of Between Preachers, a book about interim ministry by Jerrie Barber. Between Preachers is available in paperback, hardcover, Kindle, and audio. Links to purchase this book will be included in the show notes. Listen as I read chapters 12 and 14. Interim Ministry Working Agreement, and I don't think we need to write it down.
Welcome to Gleaning Mustard Seeds with Jerrie Barber. Mr. Barber is a preacher, a ventriloquist, a barefoot runner, and writes 2 blogs. When Jerrie communicates, he encourages people, try not to learn very much. Find a mustard seed. In the next few minutes, try not to learn very much. Look for something you can do to move a mountain, remove a stumbling block, or provide a stepping stone for yourself or someone else. And now, here's Jerrie with this week's mustard seed.
Chapter 12, Interim Minister Working Agreement. Good relationships begin with clear understanding and mutual agreement. I didn't know I was supposed to do that. You said you were going to do it. You agreed to pay me 90 days after we announced I was leaving. We don't remember that. Check your notes. It's not in our minutes. Some said they don't like the length of your sermons. A lot of people are upset. Who are they? We can't tell you. That information is confidential. How do you settle these disagreements? You don't. If no one made an effort and took the time to write agreements, make copies for all parties, and keep them safe for future reference, you won't solve these disputes to everyone's satisfaction. The only person who doesn't need written agreements is the person who'll never die and who'll never forget anything. If he isn't writing his agreements, he needs to be dealing with people who'll never die and who will never forget anything. It took me 10 years and much pain to learn to make agreements of expectations and record those in a working agreement. Before writing a working agreement, all parties need to have several hours of getting acquainted. I want to hear why the church wants an interim preacher. What are their expectations? What is their understanding of what I'll do and how long I'll be there? What is the difference in an interim minister and a fill-in preacher? What is our understanding of transition? Who will be involved in it? How much does each person want to grow, or do we want to just get everyone else straightened out? What are tasks and groups that need to be included in the transition process? How much interaction will there be between the elders and interim preacher? The working agreement is an official statement of understandings we have reached during our discussions. Items in job working agreement. 1. Job description. 2. Preaching. 3. Teaching. 4. Staff meetings. 5. Organizing transition projects and people. 6. Relationship with elders and staff. 7. Meetings. 8. Communication. 9. Evaluation. 10. Criticism guidelines. 11. Contract. 12. Salary, other benefits. 13. Moving. 14. Time away from the congregation. 15. Study at home and building. 16. Length of work together. 17. 90-day notice of termination. 18. Be clear that you will not consider or be considered as the next full-time preacher. 2. Critical agreements. Any criticism of Jerrie Barber will be directed to Jerrie Barber, and it will be welcomed. Jerrie Barber does not accept anonymous criticism. A principle I'll emphasize is delivering mail to the correct person. Matthew 18:15-17 applies to preachers as well as other Christians. I don't respond to "a lot of people are upset," Well, some people said, I look forward to visiting with each person individually. I appreciate criticism. It helps me grow. I don't accept secondhand criticism. It is understood that under no circumstances will Jerrie W. Barber consider or be considered as the next full-time preacher for this congregation. This is one thing distinguishing interim ministry from fill-in preaching. I'm not here to see if we like each other and to determine if I want to be the next preacher here. I'm not here to take Brother Last Preacher's place. I'm here to help the church make a good transition and to make it easier on the next preacher. See a copy of Sample Contract in the appendix. Chapter 14. I don't think we need to write it. Objections to written working agreements. We don't need to write anything down. We'll just trust each other like Christians, and I promise you we'll take care of you and work out any problems that come up along the way. And that's the beginning of disappointing agreements between leaders and their new preacher. But what could go wrong? We're all sincere, honest, and faithful brethren. Let me suggest a few things I've learned from the University of Hard Knocks, whose colors are black and blue, and the school yell is, ouch! Some possible agreements. 1. What do you expect of me? 2. What are my responsibilities? 3. How will I know if I'm doing well, mediocre, or if I'm in danger of being terminated? 4. Will I know that in advance of termination, or will I be informed on the way out? 5. What spiritual support will I receive? 6. How often and when will I meet with the shepherds? 7. As your preacher, how many weeks do I get for vacation? 8. Will these be with or without pay? 9. How many weeks do I have for workshops and gospel meetings? 10. Who arranges for speakers when I'm gone and who pays them? 11. Are there provisions for medical and life insurance, car mileage reimbursement, provisions for continuing education or lectureships or seminars, reimbursement for half of Social Security, retirement, or other benefits? 12. When I decide to leave, or you decide for me to leave, will there be severance compensation until I relocate? 13. How long will that be? 14. Etc., etc., and etc. If any or some of those are discussed, how many in the group remember them 15 minutes after we agreed on them? In the last 2 chapters, I wrote about the importance of specific written agreements. Not everyone agrees with that concept. Here are reasons people have for resisting. Objections to written agreements. If we don't trust each other any more than that, we have no business working together. It isn't a matter of trust. It's a result of imperfect memory. When you fail to record agreements a week or 5 years later, 2 or more people may have different memories of the facts. After that, each will regard each other with suspicion and distrust. Each is sure he remembered correctly. A way to eliminate that is to write it, sign it, distribute it to all parties, scan it, save it on your computer, back it up to external hard drives. I use 3 in rotation. Secure it in the cloud and put the original in your safe deposit box in the bank. Since I've done that, I've never had a disagreement on details of my agreement that wasn't solved by reading the document. In my daddy's day, people just shook hands and did what they said they were going to do. If that worked out for your daddy, I'm pleased. My experience is I forget. We had written agreements with our children when they were growing up. Every time I remember having a disagreement, I was wrong. I wasn't trying to cheat my children. I forgot the details. When we checked the document, I had no trouble doing what I promised to do. I don't think it's spiritual for brethren to have to write every detail. It seems like Christians should be able to just agree and do what they said they'd do. God didn't think it was unspiritual to write agreements. In his two big agreements, the Old Testament and the New Testament, he chose to have details and stories recorded in writing. Some of the big agreements he wrote in stone twice. When the first copy was deleted by breakage, he had another copy made and placed in a safe deposit box, the Ark of the Covenant. My conclusion: the only people who don't need to write their agreements are those who'll never forget and who'll never die. And they need to work only with people who'll never forget and never die. Otherwise, misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and damaged relationship are likely.
Thank you for listening to Gleaning Mustard Seeds with Jerrie Barber. If you found a mustard seed, send a text or email with the link to a friend. This podcast was brought to you by Jerrie's book, Between Preachers, You Can Grow Through Interim Ministry. Dale Jenkins wrote in the introduction, "While Jerrie has written the only book I know by a member of the Church of Christ on interim ministry, the excellent principles in this book could be used as a book on healthy moving or healthy leader-minister relations, or a book for every Christian on healthy living. I'd encourage you to get one for every elder you know." You can order your book from Amazon. There will be a link in the show notes. Thank you for listening. Jerrie looks forward to next week as we continue to collect and plant mustard seeds.